Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Nikki A, and I came in today to have a Nikki Talks. I know it's been a very long time, but your girl had to take a break after doing all of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Shout out to Rodney the Voice videos that I had done. It had just gotten to a place where everything had just become overwhelming. I was also dealing with some life things, and if you want some story times about those things later, let me know down in the comments, and I will be very happy to give you all some story times about that. Moving on to this video, I wanted to come in here today because I've been, even though I haven't been making and posting my own videos, I have been scrolling through and roaming about on the social media streets, and I've been seeing a lot of conversations surrounding how men mask and lie and manipulate to get what they want out of women, and on the flip side of that, how women cannot vet, or how it's impossible for men to be vetted. And I don't think I agree with that. And I definitely think that men can be vetted. I just think that there's certain things that women have to work on and that have to be brought to women's attention as a whole in order for the vetting process to actually be effective. And but vetting is definitely something that is definitely possible, and I think women actually do vet, but women don't trust the vetting that they do, and they actually go against it, and then they end up in the situations that they end up in. I would like to use my channel to talk about how women can actually defend themselves and prepare themselves when stepping into these arenas with these men, because there are things that we can look for. There are things that we can do. We aren't completely helpless. And the YouTuber that I'm thinking of that says it's the most, that I hear the most saying it, is the Public Offender. Shout out to Pub. I'm a subscriber to his channel. I love his channel, so this is not shade in any way. And I know he only says that in order to keep men accountable, but I think that two things can be true at the same time. I think that men can be at fault fully, but I also think that women can be emboldened, and we can speak power into women and build women up to have the confidence to be able to protect themselves when they're in these spaces. Now, on the flip side of that, I definitely understand that piece of it is not his responsibility. It's women's responsibility to call women to the carpet and say, hey, now that we know these things, now that men are being called out, now we have to take that information and do with it what's necessary in order to protect ourselves. For instance, a lot of times, especially some of his earlier videos, or at least the earlier videos that I got into when I first found his channel, when he was speaking of, men just wanting women to be a life appliance, and talking about how they trick women by telling them that they want them to they don't want to have to worry about working, and they just want them to be stay-at-home moms. And in my head, it clicked that that's what women need to look out for. When a man is very pressed on wanting you or wanting a woman to stay at home, and he says, I don't want you to work, it's not just necessarily recognize that as a red flag, but also know how to read in between that line and know how to redirect that red flag. Okay? Because, and this is just an example, if a man says that to you, okay, so your response should be, okay, so when did you want to start looking at housekeepers or house managers, butlers? When did you want to start looking at different agencies or businesses for catering food or hiring chefs, just for, if I don't feel like cooking, if I don't feel like cleaning, if I don't feel like organizing, because you said you don't want me to work. So we need to have contingencies in place so that those things don't feel like work, and then, down the line when we get to having children and things like that, we can talk about interviewing nannies and things of that nature at that time, and just watch his reaction. His reaction is going to let you know if he really actually wants you to work or not. If he says, oh, no, that's going to be your job.
Now hold on.
That right there lets you know, oh, he wants you to work. He just wants you to work for him. For free. No check. No benefits. No 401k. No investments. He wants you to cook. He wants you to clean. He wants you to rear the children. And he also wants you to keep his genitalia empty. Yeah, that's what he wants you to do. That's what he wants you to do. No matter how tired you are, how overstimulated you are, how overworked you are, how overwhelmed you are. You need to make sure that you have availability for me to perform what you need to perform when I get home, because I've been at work all day. But I'm not going to come home and help you clean. I'm not going to come home and help you cook. I'm not going to come home and help you with the babies. I'm not going to run you a bath. I'm not going to rub your feet. I'm barely going to say thank you when you bring me my plate as I'm sitting down with my feet propped up. See what I'm saying? So that's just one of the things that I wanted to touch on and that I wanted to highlight. It's a trap. And now that we have the tools to be able to know what the traps look like, we have to do our due diligence to stay aware of them and avoid them. It's the difference between being intelligent and being wise. We have to stop letting our guards down and maneuver appropriately. And I want to really dedicate a large piece of my channel to doing that, because I feel like women can do it. I feel like women deserve that. But as far as for the topic of today's video, it's really going to have to start with women trusting themselves. And I really think and feel that the reason why it's so easy for us to get bamboozled and swindled and hoodwinked and tricked, we don't trust ourselves, because we can feel it in the beginning, almost immediately. Something's off, something's not right, but we will allow ourselves to be talked into accepting behavior that we shouldn't accept. An example of that is, I was watching a movie. It may have been a TV show, and it was about this. They were trying to catch this guy who kidnapped people and did some things and whatever and what have you. And the way in which he would find people or his victims was through this dating app. And so he had met this woman, and when they met up in person, she realized that the identity that he had on the dating site was not who he was in real life. That was red flag number one. Homegirl should have been like, I'm gonna head out. I'm changing my phone number. I'm going private. I'm getting a restraining order. If you show up on my door, it's pew pew. Like, that should have been it right there. She allowed herself to be talked into. He's like, no. It's just for my job. And, I have to protect myself. And she went ahead with it, on some, let me give it a chance. Let me fill it out, which is what we all do. We all do that. We like to give benefit of the doubt where it is not warranted. We never want to go with our gut. Fast forward, he starts doing things like interfering with her job interviews to get her the job. Now, this was after only meeting her one time. On the surface, it's like, oh, he really likes me. He's trying to be helpful. And even in some aspects, it might look like, oh, he's trying to be a provider, but you have to look deeper than that. Like, why are you doing all of this for somebody who you barely even know? Especially after I already gave you vibes that I wasn't really feeling you like that, and now you all in my life. That's where that should have went. Then, after she gets the job, he shows up to her job and invites her to his house. And her goofy behind goes. But she still was feeling a way about the guy, so much so to the point where she sends a text message to her best friend saying, either her best friend or her sister, I can't remember which one, saying, hey, I'm at the guy's house now. If you don't hear from me within an hour, call the police. BITCH. Shout out to Jamie, that's me. If you felt in your gut that something so severe could happen with this individual that the police may have to be involved, why is you going in this man's house by yourself? Why is you on his doorstep? Why are you there? Why did you go? Where is your restraining order? Come on, Nikkie, where is your scooter?
Yeah. Where is your scooter? Where is your scooter? Where is it?
Where is your restraining order? Why are you there? And see, this is what I'm talking about. We will know in our gut the situation is not right. He's not right. He's off. But we will say, well, let me just go see it through. Let me see. It could just be me. It could just be in my head. It's in your head. Yeah, it's in your head. It's in there for a reason. It is you, but it's you for a reason. So I think that I use that example of that show because that watching that, seeing those scenes helped me to realize like there is a part that women do play in all of this, and it's that we don't trust ourselves. We don't listen to ourselves. We have intuition for a reason. And sometimes when you hear a man say to us, well, if you have all of that intuition, how come you keep ending up in what happens, when you end up in these situations with these men? Where's your intuition in? And as much as I hate to hear that, and as much as I hate to admit it, they're right. There is validity to that question because we do have the intuition. Women are born with that, but we do not use it, especially when it comes to men. When it's a penis involved, the intuition is out the door, baby. The intuition does not exist when it's a penis involved, and we have to come up out of that. No pun intended. We do though. We have to move away from that in order to protect ourselves. We will know that a situation is not good. And we will allow ourselves to be talked into going down that uncomfortable path. No, it's okay. No, it's fine. It's just this. It's just that. And it's like, no, go with your first instinct. Your first instinct is usually always right. How many times have we heard of a guy trying to get a girl to go with him somewhere, and she turned him down, and come to find out on the news a week later he was a serial unaliver. And she's like, if I had gotten in a car with him, or if I had gone with him to that party, or if I would have been the next victim. So we have these gut feelings and this intuition for a reason. It's our subconscious trying to protect us. And we have got to start using it. We've got to start trusting in it more. But I think part of the problem is, how we like to say men think with their dick, men think with their penis, women think with the coochie lips. Women think with that cootie twah. And we got to get up out of that. And like I said earlier, when a penis is involved, baby, the intuition is out the door, because now we're thinking with our coochie lips, and now we are thinking in terms of potential. Now we're in the headspace because we thinking with the cootie twah. Now, okay, we are in the headspace of, well, he just needs, a little love, or he just needs a good woman. He just needs someone to show him what love really looks like. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. But we'll talk more on that a little bit later on. I do want to go ahead and get into the videos that I did want to look at. They're all very short. But I did want to go ahead and get into the videos that I did want to look at as examples of how men can say things in certain ways, and if women don't know what to look for and don't know what to listen for, that's how you get bamboozled. That's how you get tricked into a situation that you didn't want to be in. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the videos. The first one is going to be a two-parter. So this is tonight's, all of these are going to be tonight's conversation videos. But the first one is this young lady came up to ask a question, and one guy who is Ace gave one answer, and then another guy who is Trip gave another answer. And we're just going to look at that, and then we're going to talk about how everything went down and what we can pick up on from these interactions. So let's get into it.
How come men say they want a woman with their together, but then when they get that, they get intimidated and leave for a lesser value woman?
Have you ever met a rich, lame?
Yes.
Several.
Many of them.
Several.
Right. So,
I know where he's going.
so having money doesn't disqualify a man from being lame, right?
Right.
No.
Okay, right. Having success doesn't disqualify a woman from being a terrible partner.
That's also true.
A non-listener, someone that makes it hard that doesn't know how to be present in a relationship. When you say lesser, right, you may be, to your point, describing somebody that doesn't make as much money as you. But maybe in that relationship, he feels heard, seen, valued.
Abe.
And what I'm saying is, with you, you have to ask yourself, if you are choosing men that you look up to, men that you feel like in their own right are pillars of the community, that have a great voice and discernment, and if you keep finding that these men are saying to you, hey, there's some things that maybe you can correct over here, and you keep excusing that, then now you're not making those improvements. Now, I'm not saying that that's you, but there's many women in here that are scapegoating the fact that they keep running away from men to your success, when it really might be your character, and maybe that's where you need to look.
I'm not saying that's you, but proceeds to move forward with his statement as if that's her, as if he is saying that's her. So that was Ace. That was his response. And I know, just off of face value, just off rip, I know some of you are probably saying, well, he didn't say anything bad. He was just telling her to work on her character, and that finances and accomplishments are not as important as character. And here was the thing. Anybody who thinks like that, this is why I'm making these videos. My videos that I'm going to start making about this type of content, they're for you. And see, again, this is how women get bamboozled and swindled. Let's go ahead and let's get into the manipulation of it all. So he immediately goes into finances and accomplishments when she never specified that.
Now, see, let's use our brain.
She never specified that. So everything that he said was based off of an assumption. He never asked any questions. He never clarified. He never said, well, can you clear up for me what you mean by lesser value? Or can you clear up for me what you mean by a woman having her ish together? What does that look like for you? What does that mean to you? That never happened. Okay? So that's red flag number one. Then he said, you may be describing someone who doesn't make as much money as you, and then continue to make his statement based off of maybe. And again, like I said, never clarified. And ripped into her and into her character without clarification. He just assumed that that's what she meant. What she said was a woman that has her ish together, which could encompass the woman's character as well as accomplishments and success. But he immediately went to money and accomplishments because that is what is important to men, not character. Now, I'm going to expound on that, but we're going to go ahead and get into Mr. Trip Fontaine's response. And then after we get into that, then I'll go into a bit more in depth about my thoughts on this.
We hear women come up and talk about how successful they are and how intimidated men are, and they never say a word about their character. And I just can't help but think about how turned off women get when men lead with money and lead with accomplishment and end up having nothing but unavailability and coldness and lack of emotional development, because that, unfortunately, is what it takes to succeed in certain career fields. You can look it up. And for some reason, women think that the success that they've amassed has somehow happened without them becoming devoid of a lot of the personality and relationships that men are devoid of. And they flex their accomplishments and money the same way men do, and somehow we make it different every time. No disrespect to you, but you didn't say about being a good woman. Nothing.
Why
You didn't
would
say
she-
no.
I'm just
Fuck
gonna-
all that,
but
bro.
what he's saying
Didn't
has-
say nothing
I
about.
can tell you.
Why
Let
would
him
she
finish.
say-
Let him finish. Let him
This is
finish.
about a larger point. This is not about her as an individual. We don't hear, I'm successful, I got my degree, and I've been in therapy the last 3 years working out my issues. I just bought a house, and I also identified my childhood trauma, and it took inventory over my baggage, and I got it out the way. Oh, also, I'm loyal. My time management is on point. I do what I say I'm gonna do. I'm considerate. We never hear any of it. What I hear is when say that y'all act like, when men say that y'all have turned into alphas, what we're talking about is the worst parts of manhood. Y'all have taken it on. Now, the problem with men is that we won't admit that those are the worst parts of us too. But shorty, y'all have taken the worst parts of what it means to be successful, and y'all wear that like a badge. Look at what it's done to us. If you need an example of what it looks like to only live in your accomplishments, look at the black men around you. You in a city full of them. Look at how devoid they are. Look at what it took them to get to where they are. Look at how underdeveloped some of them are emotionally. This is what you want? Is this what we gonna do, to let accomplishments be band-aids for that?
So now, all of a sudden, it's about character. Now, if I missed something, or if something was cut out, please let me know in the comments below. Drop it down in the comments and let me know if there's a clip that you can drop a link to, or something along those lines, because I still not have seen where she said anything about finances or accomplishments. So if there's something that I missed, y'all let me know in the comments below. But from what I have seen, even Tripp's response is based on assumption. Both he and Ace are actually proving her point. Men are intimidated by women being successful and or having their ish together. For the other women that Tripp alluded to that come and don't mention character, since when has character been important to men? It never has been. So much so that the women who are kind, loyal, giving, and all the other things that he said, they get used and abused. They get dragged, they get cheated on, and left for women that don't possess those qualities. But they might be prettier. This was the question. And as you can see, it was never answered. Just straight manipulation and deflection. Also, when I think about men like Cam Newton and Nick Cannon, they are referred to as high value, simply based off of their success. Nobody, and I'm talking about men, ever calls into question their character, but somehow it's okay to tear this lady down and call into question her character. Do y'all see the gaslighting here? But he sounds so good and so passionate while speaking though, right? And this, ladies, this is how they get you. Now, where I was really flabbergasted was when he said women flexing with money and accomplishments is women's imitation of the worst part of male behavior. For me, I was like, hard stop. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. That is the problem. What he said was accurate, but the issue is men aren't held accountable for it. And he proved it when he mentioned the issue, glossed over it, and proceeded to make her accountable for a problem that men started. And now, for the women that actually do lead with money and accomplishments, they only do because they see men doing it and getting praised for it. Men promote this behavior amongst other men. Flexing accomplishments and money is dang near celebrated amongst men. But when women do it, we need to talk about character?
This is where I'm starting to get aggravated.
If a man is considered high value, women are taught that we have to deal with whatever comes with that man because his success comes with access. Y'all say it about Nick Cannon and Cam Newton all the time. But when it's a woman, we have to do the work and focus on our character. Then the gaslighting of acknowledging that this is emulated behavior, and yet you have no smoke for the ones that originated the behavior, and you validate it, and you put no fault on them, but you put accountability on this dark-skinned black woman, might I add. To make an example, for the other women who you say imitate this behavior, even though the woman who asked the question never did these things and it was never a part of her question. And why was this done? Because men are actually intimidated by successful women, and this proved it. Ladies, this was a masterclass in manipulation. But yet, I saw so many women in the comments praising him and Ace for what they said, not realizing that this is why and how women get bamboozled. Also, did you notice the tantrum? F that. Nah, F that. This is about a deeper issue. She didn't say nothing about being a good woman. Well.
When times are tough and I'm feeling blue, 3 words of wisdom. Whoa.
Wah. He is literally on the floor kicking and screaming. Like figuratively, but literally. Y'all know what I'm saying. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but he never does this when the men come up there. There's a video that I'm gonna share. There was a guy that came up. This was a different time, I do believe, but came up and was talking about his lady, that she wouldn't have schmecks with him after having a baby. And I want y'all to notice the difference in response from how they responded to the lady earlier versus now. Lego.
You know, y'all have a baby, about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, you and your partner maybe have sex a handful of times. So with that being said, when is it okay? When is it okay for the man
to cheat?
To step outside of the relationship and have relations with?
When you say handful of times,
like
you mean
five, like 5-6 times.
You said that when is the right time to step out of this relationship? Hold on.
Say that. To ask her.
No, so you mean to tell me when is the right time to ask your woman that to step out of your own personal integrity and to sacrifice your own morality for another thing of... That's what we talking about?
Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. How you just try to minimize like that?
No.
Sexual desire.
Y'all are acting like it's not important though. I'm just saying at least.
Okay, let it cook.
No, we not saying that not important, but you are not about to sit here and come and ask your woman because she does not have the ability to give you all of that, considering whatever circumstances, that you should be able to step outside of your personal integrity and morality for some.
So I get it.
You said let's switch the question. Okay. Let's really switch that. What if he only paid bills a handful of times in a month and in a year and a half? Would you expect her to stay?
Y'all know Ace got them card games on sale over there.
Now, what I noticed is that the only one going in was Kitty. Where were Ace and Trip to talk about this man's character? Where were their assumptions that he may not have been helping with the baby or around the house? Which actually is a fact because the lady spoke out, but where were their assumptions? Was it cut out? Somebody, again, let me know in the comments, because I did not hear them say, I heard you come up here and speak on what she's not doing for you and what you aren't getting from her. But not once did you say anything about you being a good man to her. You didn't say not one thing about what you have done for her and how you have supported her or cared for her. Y'all, where is Trip Fontaine? Because he had all of the smoke for old girl in the last video. Where is Trip? Was he not there? Somebody let me know what the situation was. Was he not there? Did they cut it out? Because it wasn't posted. All I hear is Ace in the background talking about why y'all acting like Cootie Twa ain't important. So is Cootie Twa important or is it character? And mind you, Ace said this after Kitty called out the man's integrity. Oh, so y'all just trying to downplay Coochie. What happened to the character that they preached about in the previous video to the dark-skinned black woman? Okay, but I guess when it's a black man, the rules change. Now, Mr. Ace, let me also comment real quick on what you said at the end. Him not paying the bills for 4 months is not the same thing. He is responsible for that child and the woman in whom he put that child in. He is obligated to make sure that they are cared for. She is not obligated to give him schmecks whenever he wants it, especially not after just having a baby. Her body is still healing and going through things. For you to try to equate the two really shows your level of maturity, and that you would think that it's okay not to pay bills because the woman who just had your child is not having sex with you due to postpartum, amongst other things. Ace, why was this man not lectured about his character and how he should have shown up in the relationship? Where was his accountability for the response that he was getting from his significant other? Why was he not told to start with himself? Because those are the things that you told to Miss Lady when she was talking about the eventuality that she gets in her relationships. But you didn't have that for this man. You didn't have that for this man. Now back to Mr. Fontaine. Let me also say, in regards to the video that I showed prior to this one, understand nobody owes you that part of them up front. Nobody owes you a character assessment up front. You are very entitled to think that someone owes you who they are up front. That's how people get taken advantage of. That's how women get bamboozled, hoodwinked, conned, tricked, swindled. Okay? You give these men how little or how much you want to. But whatever you give them, make them earn it. If all you want a man to know at first is that your issues together and you handle your business, and that's all you give them, period. Then once y'all get to know each other and the relationship progresses and you want to show more of who you are, do that. Make them earn it. Women give way too much, way too soon. On that note, I do have one more video that I want to get into. It's still tonight's conversation, but this is with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, who was talking about transparency and relationships. And once again, Mr. Fontaine deflects and shows his entitlement. Let's get into it.
Transparency in a relationship, okay? Honesty is I ask you a question and you answer that honestly. Transparency is your forthcoming. So as we date and we get to know each other and you're transparent with me, part of the transparency is that you and I both are either texting in front of each other, phone calls are coming through. We are now orbiting together. That's what healthy relationships do. People who don't have anything to hide, who are transparent, okay?
I think the good doctor may be right in that transparency is the way to go. And so, if the fella's gonna be transparent, I think you ought to be transparent about the fact that you went through my phone and didn't find it.
Amen.
I think you ought to be transparent about them last few niggas that still be calling you. You may not entertain them, but they still be calling your phone. I need you to be transparent about why you don't trust. I need you to be transparent about the fact that we started off in a deficit when it came to trust, and I didn't do to you. That I got here and had to prove myself immediately. So yes, Doc, I agree. You need to be a little more transparent.
Thank you.
But ladies, y'all looking real opaque like a if you know what I'm saying. Ain't seen through one of y'all yet.
Now, first things first, she said we are orbiting each other, which means we are being transparent with each other. So her comment was in regards to both men and women. Clearly, Tripp needed to be seen and wanted to compete with her comment because what he said was completely unnecessary. But since he said it, let's run it.
You wanted smoke, so here.
First of all, if the phone is being going through, it's because your behavior is most likely putting her in a space to make her not trust you. You are not doing what you need to make her feel secure in the relationship. Second, yeah, ninjas are still calling because I'm sure the last time you were asked, what are we? Or where is this going? That your answer was, we're still getting to know each other. Or we're still figuring things out. So don't be worried about who was coming through on somebody's phone when there is no commitment in the relationship. Third, women are very transparent about the fact that we don't trust y'all and why. We have been very vocal and we get gaslit and told that we need to work on our character. Lastly, you are absolutely right. and that there is a trust deficit. You are absolutely correct that the trust has to be earned and it is not just given to you. Who do you really think you are that you feel that a woman should automatically trust you up front when you have set no track record with her? So a woman that does not know you is just supposed to just trust you and take you at your word? Why? Because you say you are a good man? No, that's dangerous, especially for women. This is exactly how women get taken advantage of. I know there were a lot of women in the audience and some that have seen this clip and were like, oh, I never thought about it like that before. Well, you never thought about it like that before because it's stupid. It's nonsense. If a woman is going to go through your phone, still allowing other men to text or call her, and doesn't trust you, maybe it's your character. Maybe she doesn't feel seen, loved, heard, or supported, ace, since you want to be in the background cackling like a little schoolgirl. Nobody should be trusting anyone out of the gate, but especially a woman should not trust a man without him proving himself to be reliable and trustworthy. But do y'all see how men will lie just to avoid accountability? Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is successful, accomplished, and has done the character work. And you could tell that they were bothered because they couldn't come for her in those areas. So what did they do? They gaslit the ish out of her and the audience. And why? Because they are intimidated by her. Ladies, we have to wake up and really start paying attention. We have to start reading between the lines. Time after time, these men telling themselves, but because we think they are cute and or they speak with so much conviction, we don't hear it. Our brains become numb. This man just said that he doesn't care about the safety of his women so long as it means that men don't have to work as hard to get where they want to with women. Y'all were praising, hooting and hollering in the comments over what he said. Stop trusting men, and especially stop trusting them more than you trust yourself. This is the start of the vetting process, but you have to trust that process. If something is alarming you or you feel like something is off, trust yourself with that. It's called discernment, and I'm telling you, ladies, it will save you from a lot of heartache and pain. However, if you ignore it because you want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's cute, or you feel like you understand him and you want to be patient because he's been through a lot in his childhood, girl, you are going to continuously be in a world of hurt. I know because I used to be that girl. I used to be her. I used to be Miss, he just needs someone to love him. Stop trying to fix these men and start focusing on protecting yourselves. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't enjoy yourself, have a good time, enjoy good conversation, catch a movie, get something nice to eat, but it does mean you have to be smart. Associate, but be smart. Remember what Ronnie said. Never trust a big peen and a smile. Now, if you have made it all the way this far to the end of this video, I do have a favor to ask that you obviously please rate, comment, and subscribe. But please, you guys, please like up the video. It took me over 3 days to edit this video because I'm working with an older iPad, and I'm not able to get a new one until next month. So, but I work very hard to get this video out for y'all. I worked very hard, very hard, very laboriously on this video. So what that also means is at this moment I'm not able to crank videos out the way I would like to and the way the algorithm would need me to. So the more y'all like this video up, the more it gets shared and the more my message gets shared. So if you guys could please just help me out, like up this video, comment, interact with the video so that the algorithm can do its thing. And I will see y'all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.